an intro song, man.
I got to get an intro song. We don't have an intro, but we are live right now. No Emma, so I don't have an intro person. Usually Emma comes on here and she's like, blah, 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 blah. This is what we're going to talk about. Well, guess what? This is what we're going to talk about. We got the one, the only Mr. Napple, Ben. He runs the largest Forrest Fenn Discord. He's does the probably the only real true Forrest Fenn YouTube channel. So when you bring him on, you got to talk Forrest Fenn. How you doing, Ben?
Good, man. I'm the last one standing in the Forrest Fenn world. Now there's one or two others, but you know they're kind of rare. But yeah, we're the ones who can't quit.
Yeah, I mean, Treasure Warriors, man, you guys are killing it. I'm gonna put your link up here really quick. I love your stuff because I learned stuff from it every time. Like just yesterday, you read a book. Everybody should go do it, right? Go watch it. It was really good. It was a really good show. You did it on it's Forrest Fenn's book, right? And
My word.
Yeah,
probably his most famous story.
Yeah, and it was exceptional. You're a good reader and stuff like that. You're entertaining and stuff as always. And I learned something from that. I hadn't read that book, so I had a whole bunch of his books. I didn't have that one. So they need to go watch it. They need to go watch that show. It's really good.
How do you expect to be a Justin Posey treasure hunter if you haven't read The Thrill of the Chase?
Well, no, I have read The Thrill of the Chase. Matter of fact, I just got a brand new Thrill of the Chase.
Oh, look at that.
Called? I got this one from Shiloh. So
you bought it off his eBay?
Bought it off his eBay. I'm like, why would I buy it anywhere else? Now that I know that he sells them, why would I buy it?
If you were a real treasure hunter, you would assume that Shiloh has hidden something within that book, even though it's plastic wrapped. He's put a surprise, and you should rip that shit apart, figure out what's in there.
In the book,
no, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
I was gonna do it. Yeah, I was gonna do it. I actually wrote him. What's it called? It's probably not gonna happen, but I bought another book saying, "Hey, would you sign this one? We're gonna give it away on a show if he does. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, whatever. I get it. You know, he's a busy guy. He doesn't have to deal with that. So, but if he does, we'll give it away on our show. You know, I thought that'd be a cool thing to give away. So we like doing that. So
make sure I'm not on the show. I want to guess a number for that.
Yeah, it's not going to be 42. So Forrest Fenn, you were hunting. Can we talk about where you were searching?
I don't think I've told people my actual search location before.
Really?
I've given some search locations. I was mainly a Colorado solver. The way I approached Forrest and his poem, he wanted us to use the poem, use the book, and a good map. And so I read through the stories, and I was trying to find a spot where, because he always professed he was a writer, so I wanted to look for places that were more cliffhangers in the book. Something where he tells you a little bit but doesn't tell you everything, and almost in a dramatic way. And I thought there was one chapter where he did that, which was called The Long Ride Home. And it was about him and his brother getting into a fight somewhere in Wyoming, kind of between Casper and Shoshone. And his brother kicks him out of the car, drives off, full on brother on brother crime. And Forrest is left there like for an hour by himself, just thinking. His brother comes back, they reunite, they hug, and according to Forrest, have the greatest adventure ever. So I approached it where that moment, they're going to drive home to Texas. Along that route is where his special spot was. And so I was mainly Colorado, but when that struck out, I ended up in Yellowstone with a home of brown equals home of poop-stained underwear solve. And a Back to the Future solve, where the home of Brown was Doc Brown. And Doc Brown in Back to the Future, they look up his address. Marty points to his address on a phone book, and it says like 1413 Riverside Drive. So I was like, oh, well, Riverside Drive. Look at that. There's a Riverside Drive right next to the Madison River inside Yellowstone National Park. Maybe I'll look there.
That's a pretty good place to look.
Right.
So
I keep saying I still don't know where Warm Waters halt. I have a bunch of Home of Browns. I have no where Warm Waters halt. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're in Colorado, like the whole freaking state of Colorado is named Brown. So I'm looking for the Forrest Fenn box, obviously. I assume you are too, because you also want that olive jar.
Yeah, I mean, I do. to be, I don't want to speak for all the Forrest Fenners who are left, but to be in the Forrest Fenn world these days, you almost have to have a little bit of a conspiratorial tinfoil thought in your head, whether that's a second treasure chest, or Jack never did it, or Jack was on a team, or Jack did, but he's hiding it from us. So then that goes into all the shenanigans that happened after the chase, including that olive jar. And one of my little tinfoil theories is maybe that olive jar isn't what we think it is. So I don't even know if I want to go get that stinking olive jar. Of all of the treasures out there right now, I think I'm more interested in that one.
Yeah. First of all, good point, Barry. Everyone like and subscribe to Treasure Warriors. Ben really does really love it. He cares about it. Chad Bird, really quick. Thank you. You do not have to do that. Thank you so much. Cheers, Dan. Hope all is well. Good luck, Mr. Napple. So Chad Bird he runs the trezor.quest. We were talking about it, that you have the snake game and what's it called? How he's just playing it beforehand, and I keep getting stuck at like 60 something. I just make one little mistake.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try this snake game. I didn't even know Chad Bird was a real guy. I just saw all of his super chats over the years. I was like, who is this guy? And then he comes showing up with a pirate mask on. I was like, oh, this guy's awesome.
He is, man. He's like so legit. He's not selling anything. He's just doing this hunt, and he's just trying to give back. You know what I mean? He's a good Christian guy and stuff, and you gotta love people like that, you know. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Can't beat the stupid game, even though he just said he made it easier apparently, but I still can't beat it. So, all right. So the olive jar, though, there's something more in it, and we're gonna be talking DB Cooper. Is that what you do? You think Forrest Fenn was DB Cooper? I hear that.
No, I don't think Forrest Fenn was DB Cooper. My search partner Alan certainly does. Nice. I think Forrest is connected to DB Cooper. I think Skippy, his brother, was DB Cooper.
Oh.
In the thrill of the chase, Forrest makes a very big deal, and you Poseyites should know. Forrest makes a very big deal to talk about J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye, and what he really focuses on, at least from a writing perspective, in my opinion, is he wants us to really lock in that Forrest Fenn is Holden Caulfield. Wants us to lock in. Now, he tells us about his brother and his sister throughout the thrill of the chase, but doesn't relate them to Catcher in the Rye. But Holden has a brother and a sister, just like Forrest. Holden's brother is named DB. So his initials would be DB Caulfield, DBC. So I think all of the DB stuff, all of the 423s and the DBCs in the Forrest Fenn world point to Skippy being DB Cooper.
Now that's interesting. So like I said, I have heard Forrest maybe DB Cooper. I mean, how does a guy come out of nowhere all of a sudden open up shop, blah, blah, blah? Where's
there's a lot to that,
yeah. There's a lot to interesting stuff. Like I said, I try to do a lot of research on it and stuff like that. Although the one book I can't seem to research, and you talk about a lot on your show, people should watch it to see that, is Ha Ha Ha. It's like a rare book. Okay.
Do I have it?
Do you have it? Okay, so this book supposedly is written by DB Cooper. They're trying to figure out, is it you or Alan? You guys think that maybe this is written by Forrest Fenn?
Now that we both agree on. I can't find it. That we both agree on. It's Ha 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 by DB Cooper was written in, it was written in 1978.
Right.
And it was published in 1983. Skippy happened to pass away in Cozumel, New Mexico, Cozumel in Mexico, in 1978. So I don't think it's coincidence that Ha 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 first starts getting written in 1978. First to address, there's a plethora of people out there that think Ha 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 by DB Cooper was written by a criminal named Rod Addix, a man who was in jail at the time the book was written and released for murdering someone with their own crutches. If it turns out that guy was the author, Alan and I would hate the book. we just think it's a cover story. We think there's a lot of shenanigans that went into this, a lot of things to cover this. once you learn that Forrest Fenn was CIA, you start to open up your mind a little bit to, wow, geez, of all the people to be capable of putting on this crazy cover-up that you think is needed, Forrest was that guy. The book ends up being a treasure hunting book. 7 clues hidden in the 328 pages. By the way, Forrest allegedly flew 328 missions. So there's 328 pages. And unlock the 7 clues to find D.B. Cooper's loot. It just so happens Forrest was quoted in 3 different newspapers in 1969 after his tour was over and he was done flying, at least for the Air Force, that he didn't fly 328 missions. He actually was shot down on his 304th mission, and then he had to have one more champagne flight after that, a safe flight, so that his last flight wasn't a getting shot down moment. And in the newspaper, he goes, my final flight number was 305. Now, of course, D.B. Cooper hijacked flight 305. I don't think Forrest flew 305 missions so that he could one day hijack flight 305, but I do think it could be a reason as to why there was a little bit of motivation. They find a number, it's fortuitous. What a good little coincidence. Let's pick that flight. Alan and I also think it's a CIA operation. We don't think they intended to harm anyone. The book itself, discusses that a fake bomb was used, that no one was at risk. Now, in 2025, we know it's still traumatizing to do to the stewardesses and the pilots. The people on board didn't know. But so yeah, I think all of that adds up in this book, to a book he wrote and didn't take credit for. And in The Thrill of the Chase, there's a discrepancy. Forrest says that this is his 9th book as it's being published, The Thrill of the Chase in 2010. But there were only 8 books ever written on record that he had anything to do with. So there was a missing book in his total of 9. We only knew of 8. What is this missing book? Alan and I happen to think it might be
Yeah, and wasn't it? There's a copy of it in his closet, isn't there? Yeah. I watched the show, bro. That's what I'm saying. If you're not watching the show, you're missing out on tons of information. You have to watch it. I just posted it again right here. It's Treasure Warriors and stuff like that. But you literally have like screenshots into his house. You basically walk through his house.
So for the longest time ever, I would always look in Forrest Fenn's house, whatever pictures were published online, and I'd look on that library in his office, and I'd look to see if there's a copy of there. Wouldn't that be and I could never find it. This past summer, over the month of July, the house, and this has been like 3 times now, it has been put back on the market, Forrest Fenn's house that Shiloh lives in. And I did the 3D virtual tour. I'm ashamed to admit it. I did the 3D virtual tour and went into every nook and cranny that was available online and looked everywhere. I found a fake treasure chest sitting underneath his table in his office, a replica, one that we all saw in Netflix, by the way. Right. That replica chest. Weird, huh? And then I went upstairs, went into Forrest. Hey, they let me into the closet. Oh, there's stuff in the closet. I'm going to look. And I start scanning everything, and I go, oh, I think we have a bingo.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean, that's some serious treasure hunting right there.
Right?
So, stalker. Hey, look it. They put it online. That's not stalker. Something like that. D.B. Cooper, why would he have that book? Well,
Forrest was, I can't remember if he wanted to do this, did do it in the 80s. I don't remember, but Forrest said something to the effect of, Forrest's whole scheme, if you will, selling art, was writing about the artists he was selling, which is just another form of salesmanship.
Right.
And so he wrote he wanted to write a book called Closet Stories of Taos, of the Taos artists that lived in New Mexico. I look at this and I go, I think Shiloh might be doing something to send a message that says the Closet Stories of Forrest Fenn. And one of those stories is by D.B. Cooper. I don't know. I find it interesting it's in there.
It makes sense. There is a missing book that he wrote, that we know he wrote, and we don't know what it is. Why not that? So,
I mean, one could say Alan and I could just shut up and solve that book, by D.B. Cooper, and we'll just figure this out. But we're still sitting here without. We're working
You're
on it.
working
We're
on
working on it.
it.
You know, there's a lot that goes with that.
Well, so you've read like all his books. So
Of course, yeah.
multiple times. Matter of fact, like I said, you just read one on your show. Go watch it. It's a really good read. It's a really great book about when he's a firefighter pilot. He gets shot down and stuff like that. It was really good. I was like, this is great and stuff. So, but you've read them all, and now you've read Ha Ha Ha. Are they similar? Are they the writing style similar?
I really do think the writing style is very similar. There's lots of moments where the author gives certain characters nicknames, mostly things you'd see matched both in the Thrill of the Chase, but in Forrest's scrapbooks. The prose that it's written under feels very similar. There's matching phrase. There's a page in Ha 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 where the writer says, I began to lose myself in the thrill of the chase. Now, the thrill of the chase is not copywritten to Forrest Fenn. It's been used as a term before, but it's rare. And for two separate treasure hunting books to both have that phrase, interesting. Not by no means a smoking gun, but it's a lot of those little things along the way of the whole entire book where Alan and I are like, we think he wrote it. It's not that we want him to have written it. We just do. We just think he wrote it.
The thrill of the chase is not a common phrase that you just throw around. And you would think that even if he didn't write it, he's at least had to have read that book. He at least enjoyed it.
I wonder. I gave it to Shiloh when I visited the house last year. So obviously that's why I was saying I think Shiloh is sending a message by putting that book in the closet. I think Shiloh did it. Mm-hmm. I handed it to him. We were sitting in Forrest's porch looking at his amazing waterfall and pond and all that. And I pick out the book and I, without looking at him, kind of hand it over to him. I go, I got you a present. and he starts laughing and he thumbs through it and he goes, I haven't read this one. And in my head, I'm like, wait, this one, as in one out of what? You just this particular treasure hunting book you haven't read, or what are you trying to say? He's playful. By no means did he say like, oh yeah, my granddad wrote this for sure. You're on to something, Ben. He's never done that. But I do think that one of the things I pointed out to him, which I found amazing, was two things. The end of the book says that you should send, if you can't retrieve the treasure yourself, you should send your solve to P.O. Box 687, Jefferson, Oregon, blah, blah, blah. Forrest had a P.O. Box for the Dude, the hotel that he ran in West Yellowstone and owned with his brother. And the P.O. Box for that hotel, the Dude, was P.O. Box 687. So it was the same matching P.O. Box number, which I found interesting. Yeah. But that wasn't my headline to Shiloh. My headline to Shiloh was Alan and I had gotten the official copyright paperwork sent to us, both from the Copyright Office and the editor named in the book, Judy Van Cleve. And on the copyright paperwork was a person named W.J. LeMay. And I could connect it to two different W.J. LeMays, and both W.J. LeMays had a connection to Forrest Fenn. So it didn't matter which one I picked. They both had a direct connection to him. Forrest lived across the street from a W.J. LeMay. I spoke to that man's son, and he said he bought art from Forrest all the time, described Forrest as a jokester. The second W.J. LeMay moved from Oregon to New Mexico, lived in Deming, New Mexico. Some of you Poseyites might remember Deming, and worked on the cars that would be shown at the Nedra Matucci Gallery, which Forrest owned. It was Fenn Galleries and then sold to Nedra Matucci. So both W.J. LeMays on the copyright paperwork, whichever one you want to pick, both have a direct connection right back to Forrest Fenn. What a small world, Shiloh. And he looks at me, he laughs, gives me a wink, looks at Ashley, he goes, it is a small world, isn't it? And that's how Shiloh is. So is it all a smoking gun put together? No, still not, but it's very convincing.
Yeah, Shiloh was at you. For those who don't know, you threw Femboree. This was your first year, or your first year.
First, yeah. First year we ever threw it. I may have been sneaky in a hoodie at one of those past Femborees, but we won't go into that. But first one.
Yeah, so and hopefully you'll be doing another one next year. But Shiloh shows up and he teaches your kids to fish. That's this guy what's it called, could sometimes catch a bad rap. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Because he just like his freaking granddad in a lot of ways, man. He's mysterious. He's funny. I like him. So.
He is definitely like his granddad. He definitely wants to be like his granddad, and I don't say that as a pejorative. He said to us 3 years ago, I think at this point, I'm channeling my inner Forrest Fenn, as he began our conversations with us, and promised things like, I wish people would believe me that there's going to be more fun to come and answers are coming too, or however the quote says that I always have scrolling. That promise hasn't been fulfilled yet, but Shiloh knows that. And he's gotten a lot of flack from folks that used to be in the Forrest Fenn community. And it's understandable. It's 2025 and we don't even know what he meant by answers. Answers to the treasure hunt, answers to the poem, I don't think so. The solve, I don't think so. But I think that there are a lot of glaring plot holes in the thrill of the chase, the actual chase itself, how it went down, how it ended, the aftermath, even after it ended. And I think that's what answers mean. And I think those are the kind of answers that he'll give us 2 or 3 headliner options, and whoa, it's going to make everything kind of come together. Shout out to our youngest JJ after Shiloh left, and he goes, yo, Shiloh's underrated.
He is. He's very underrated. You know who the most underrated person on Golden Greed is, though? Was you. You were in Golden Greed. They snuck you in to a bunch of clips. I don't know if everybody saw that, but yes, you are Golden Greed famous too, my friend.
What, can I curse? Is that all right?
Yeah, I know it's a thing to talk about, but
I mean, what am I quoted? What the is going on? I didn't want to be on it. They never asked me, but who cares? Whatever. It's funny now. Like my dad still doesn't watch it. He's like, should I watch this Netflix thing that you're involved with? I'm like, wow, hold on, Father. I'm not involved with the Netflix thing. I'm involved with Shiloh and Forrest's Fun and Answers and what went down. But if you want to watch it. I'm in there. And he goes, oh, well, I'll turn it on.
Yeah, you're in there multiple times. So
yeah, it surprised me. If
you watch a show, you'll know that Shiloh, or what we all think we're all waiting on, right, is there's one more lawsuit. There's literally one lawsuit left. We're waiting for that to get settled. Obviously, if you're in the middle of a lawsuit, you can't go talking about stuff. You can't, do stuff like that when you're in the middle of the lawsuit. So
it's been a miracle he's even interacted with us like he has for the last 3 years. Folks don't realize Forrest had a lawsuit sitting on his doorstep the day before the chase even ended.
Yeah.
He had a lawsuit sitting in his office back in October of 2019. And those lawsuits have just continued and continued and continued up until the most recent one. And I always hated, not now, but I always hated that we, the YouTube community, would give court updates. Because I always would say, you're teaching people how to be a lawyer and just sue this family and they're just going to continue. Oh, the statute of limitation ends. Now we're at a point where I think it really is over in the sense of I don't think anything else can be filed against the estate. People can sue Shiloh till the cows come home. But I don't think anyone can sue the estate anymore after this case is dismissed. This case has been ongoing since October of last year. But the latest update from it was Carl Summers, the guy you all Poseites love and adore, look for hints in the background of his scene. He filed a motion to dismiss back in June. And I think we're just waiting on that. I mean, that could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen late October. I don't know.
Yeah, I love how someone says, I never understand the lawsuits. Well, people did the lawsuits. And if you watch Ben's show, like I say, you're going to find out that the people that you do a lawsuit thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this lawsuit, it's going to be great, they're now paying. They're now paying huge amounts and stuff like that. You're paying for all the lawyer fees. And believe me, they have really good lawyers and they're not cheap and stuff like that.
It's a bold move on all their parts. It has not worked out for them, though.
No, they haven't won a single one. And here's the thing is we're going to have a situation where Justin Posey's or John Collins Black, especially John Collins Block, who's broken up into 5. So is the lawsuit's going to start with 1 and they're going to try to figure out where all of them are and stuff like that? I mean, that's going to be an interesting one. But what they need to realize is when you lose that lawsuit, and you probably will because they've covered their butts really well,
right,
you're going to have to pay.
Yeah. So, it's not fun. It's not fun when all you have is a camper or RV that I've already made reservations for to smoke a joint in after it's been. That's a bad joke, sorry. But I think both. What's interesting is I think both JCB and Justin are prepared for that, at least mentally. They know what happened in the chase. They know what Forrest had to deal with. It seems like they have the means to fight if someone feels like fighting. And I think at this point in treasure hunt land, that's what is number one necessary if you want to conduct a treasure hunt. You have to be able to deal with the lawsuits because they're going to happen.
Yeah, and the people that are going to do that, they're going to lose. I can't wait for them to have to pay, and we could laugh at them. So,
I mean, you'd think people would just stop. Sit down and have fun, damn it. How hard is this?
It's supposed to be fun. That's what we're all about, having a good time. And speaking of fun, the end of Forrest Fenn's hunt. Okay, you got so many people, so many theories. I love listening to them all. I find them all interesting. I know a lot of people don't like to hear them. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's conspiracies and stuff like that." Jack found it. Jack didn't find it. Jack cheated to find it. I mean, there's so much thing. It was moved and stuff like that. What's it called? Where it was, they decided they wanted to put it, but they didn't want to put it in that spot, so they picked it up. They moved it to that spot to be found. So that if they wanted to rehide it again, or there was a second treasure or something like that, that it could be put in that spot. So where are you on this? Where are you on this spectrum? If you don't mind me asking, it's a big spectrum.
I have done such a good job over the last 5 years of never quite telling where my actual stance is on any of this. I don't watch one stream and think one way, watch another one, think another way. Listen, be on my Discord for months on end, and you'll go, wait a second, I thought you thought this. Nope, roll tape. I never said that. So, I think something went down that we don't know about. I think there are plausible. I'm not as I don't know. I'm not as scientific as like a Justin, right? I could assign percentages to all these things and not waste my time on the ones that have low percentages. However, we are in a treasure hunt. And to me, being in a treasure hunt doesn't necessarily throw the rules of logic out, but it is not normal life. When the treasure hunt is conducted by a master salesman, CIA agent, and writer who spent countless interviews and emails and comments telling people how much he planned for this thing, the ending we got is not like, spoiled rotten treasure kids, we demand better. No, it was so fly in the face, not just what we didn't expect, but made no sense. And a lot of people, I think, who succumbed to the 9 Mile Hole story had a reason to. I think whatever went down required Forrest Fenn's participation. And if it required Forrest Fenn's participation, I believe whatever shenanigans happened because the writer Forrest Fenn dictated it. And therefore, it will have an end. It will have a reason. The plot holes will be filled in. And we're all going to rejoice at how marvelous and genius Forrest Fenn is. I still believe that to this day. Does that answer it?
I think that answers it, and I appreciate it. I'm not trying to bait him into anything like that. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious because it is a wide spectrum. Chad Bird, thank you. You don't have to do that. His theory, though, Jack found the treasure between 2018 and 2019 with a metal detector, which obviously you're not allowed to bring in to Yellowstone and stuff like that. Right. Shiloh Forrest Fenn to force Jack to come forward because Forrest Fenn was at the end, and the family wanted to know they could live in peace. And that's his theory on that and stuff like that. I've heard that theory from him,
Yeah.
and it makes sense. I mean, if it's buried, how are you going to find that treasure if you don't know what the blaze? I mean, nobody knows what the blaze is, right? I mean, your theory is it's not a mark on the tree.
Nobody knows what the blaze is, despite many saying that they do. They could be right. I'm not here to say anyone is wrong or right. But when they say they know what it was, nonsense. I don't even care if the lawyer told you what the blaze was. Nonsense. This is a treasure hunt that a secret has been kept in. Obviously, they're not going to broadcast that secret on YouTube.
Right.
And so whatever stories we've been told, it's like, you don't have to go opposite, but there's a reason no one has come up with a blaze. Folks scavenged that area when Rudy found that spot. It was going to be a foot race between me and Rudy. Not many people know this. Rudy and I were DMing back and forth behind the scenes, and I looked at the weather that week, and I DM'd him and I said, "You're going, aren't you?" And he went, "You know it," because there was like a 36-hour window where it wasn't going to snow. There was a little rain before. The temperatures were jumping quickly. It wasn't going to be a rummaging in a winter fest situation in the middle of May. And I looked at Ashley and I was like, "Rudy's going. I have to go." And we were moving to freaking Arizona right at that time. And I'm like, I can't. Oh, no. And then Rudy got it. He found it. But everyone looked for a blaze at that spot. There's no notch on a tree. There's nothing there.
Right. Which doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
So, I mean, if there's no blaze, I mean, that was the big part. It's like, find the blaze, look down, blah, blah. Speaking of which, hey, Chad Bird is just giving us 2 super chats. We like to give back. We're going to give away a thrill of the chase at the end of the show. I just decided, why not? We're going to take that. We're going to give away, thanks to Chad Bird, thrill of the chase. We're going to order it from Shiloh. Oh, matter of fact, I'm going to put that link in there just in case someone else wants to order it. I mean, if you're going to buy it, why not buy it? It's first of all, it's shrink wrapped. It's pretty awesome. Why not buy it from Shiloh? So I'll put the link and stuff like that at the eBay site. He actually sells other stuff where he's rumored that if you buy other stuff, he may put a note. So some people have bought stuff and got a note. Some people have bought stuff and not got a note. So
you're better at selling Shiloh's eBay than I am.
No, I mean, come on. I mean, it just makes sense. If you're going to buy this book, why buy it from Amazon when you could buy it from the grandson of the creator of the Thrill of the Chase? And
I agree. And I would also say that if you're worried at home about wanting to buy from like Collected Works, for instance, Shiloh is working with Collected Works on selling those eBay books. So he's actually, I think, doing a favor to them. He's clearing up space. He's housing some of these books himself so that they can sell, but all that money's going to them. I think it's not going to him. So a lot of people think he's doing that eBay thing so he can make money. Most of the higher priced items that he has sold, few and far between, mind you, most of those items end up going to a charity of some kind. One time someone bought a watch went to $600, and so he said he handed $300 to a homeless man, and then invested the other $300 in a cryptocurrency that he'll distribute later. So like he has fun with it, but he's not like doing it for the money.
He's definitely not doing it for the money. I mean, clearly, if he was doing it for the money, he'd be selling big, huge ticketed items that Forrest Fenn hunters would be all over and stuff like that. So,
and he may do that, by the way. I mean, there is a market out there that want like that.
Yeah.
We don't think the eBay stuff is interesting because I think a lot of us believe that there's a little bit more to what's going on with eBay, where Shiloh's almost killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will, clearing out the drawers, but then maybe he's not allowed to tell us what's going on. A lot of us been super frustrated. Why haven't Fun and Answers happened like you said it would happen? And maybe he's coming up with a way to communicate with us and tell us what's happening or tell us what will happen in a clever way through eBay descriptions where no one has to buy anything. And by the way, if you wanted that thing he was selling, congratulations, which an appearance on your show.
Yes.
The
now,
official.
people don't know what that is. No, so this is like bridging the gap, right? You guys are the Forrest Fenn channel. You guys talk Forrest Fenn all the time and stuff like that. Although Ashley, your lovely wife, does a Justin Posey show. It's a Power Hour, the Ashley Power Hour. Every Friday, they talk about Justin Posey. But you, every Tuesday night, 5 p.m., 5:05 p.m., you do the Forrest Fenn thing. What is that shovel? So people know, because these people that are watching us, they're mostly new hunters. They mostly started when they saw Netflix and stuff like that. They're trying to learn as much as possible. What is that?
This is a device that you use, Jam, for going boots on the ground with. And you dig holes with it.
What do you do with it? You hold it up for weather? It's a weather checker?
That shovel was standing up next to Forrest sitting down in a chair, and he was doing, I think it was a Vanity Fair spread, talking about his treasure hunt. And it became kind of an iconic photo of Forrest with him sitting down, just proud of himself, with the shovel standing right up next to him. And as soon as Shiloh put it up for auction on eBay, I told Ashley, I said, I don't care what the final price is, I'm getting that shovel. And when I ended up being able to successfully win the bid, Shiloh told me a couple of other things about the shovel. And he goes, you know, Ben, that's the shovel that you have there. And I go, the shovel for what, Shiloh? And I'm playing stupid. I'm like, oh, is that the shovel you get the treasure with? Like,
yeah, you're hoping. You don't want to seem too eager. What?
Right. I don't know. What did he do with it, Shiloh? And he goes, Ben, I can't tell you. At least not right now, but that's the shovel. And Forrest, my granddad, Ben, he had tons of shovels. He had like 20 of them in his den or in his shed. But this one particular shovel was always kept separate from everything else that he had tool-wise. I always found it interesting, Ben, that this one particular shovel, the shovel, was kept separate from everything else. Don't you find that weird, Ben? Like, that's how he talks, even at a relationship or a friendship that Shiloh and I have after these last few years. You know, he still talks in riddles. I challenged him and I said, oh, okay. So here's what happened, Shiloh. Forrest took that shovel with him, and he brought a backpack of half the loot, so 20 pounds, 22 pounds of loot on him, holding onto a shovel at 80 years old, and decided to wade across the Madison, dig up a hole, hide some of the loot in there, left the shovel, went back for more loot, crossed the Madison a second time, got the loot, crossed the Madison a fourth time, or a third time, completed the ceremonial burying of his treasure, and then took the shovel back with him, got no water damage, and walked across the Madison for a fourth time. And according to a couple of people who claim to have heard it from him, he fell in the Madison on that fourth leg of the journey and still somehow managed to hold on to that shovel with no water damage. Isn't that funny, Shiloh? And he goes, is that what happened? And this is at brunch, and it's like, oh God. So you're saying that's not what happened? I don't know, Ben.
Or is he saying that's not the shovel you used to bury it the first time?
Or that's not the shovel he used. But then what is it the shovel for?
To bury it the first time, where supposedly, I mean, that's one of the theories, right? That's one of the.
Well, then maybe the treasure chest moved, and that's not exactly. That's yeah. So one little story can bring us down a whole tangent of what could have happened with the Forrest Fenn chase. And I think that, not my particular story, but just that reason alone is why there are a bunch of us still left fighting the good fight of, no, man, the thrill of the chase isn't over. The treasure hunt might be over, but the thrill of the chase isn't. And we don't mean it in a metaphorical, oh, let's kumbaya, la-di-da, take a nap way. We think there's more to this story.
Yeah, and the thing is so every person that throws on a treasure hunt, what's it called? Like right now, Justin Posey, John Called Black, they are the only ones that know, and they have to say that obviously and stuff like that because they don't want their families being bothered and stuff, and they could be the only ones that know and stuff like that. Shiloh was like, they were like close. Does he know everything? Did he know everything? What do you think?
So Shiloh and I have talked about this. It's evolved a little bit. Back when we first started talking, I'd say late 22, he really wanted to emphasize that no matter what anyone tells you, Ben, they don't know what happened. The community at most knows 70% of the story. And that's everyone in the community, Ben. And I said, I mean, we got into details of who everyone meant, and he meant everyone. And that evolved to, well, not evolved, I guess I asked the right questions, and it turned into, Shiloh, do you know the solve? Yes, I know the solve. You know the solve. No wordsmanship here. The solve of the poem that we all tried to solve ourselves. Yes, that's all. Have you been to the spot? Yes, I've been to the spot. So he knows where the spot is. He knows what the solve is, despite what anyone wants to tell him. And he liked to really emphasize, Ben, I was my granddad's best friend. He was mine. I lived with him for half of the chase. I was living with him during COVID. We had plenty of time to talk. Now, that doesn't mean that Shiloh knew the answers before Friday, June 5th, 2020. But after Friday, June 5th, 2020, the game has changed. Right. And it's now we're in my opinion. My opinion, Forrest and Shiloh had some very in-depth conversations over the summer of 2020 before Forrest passed away. And Shiloh knows more than any single person in the chase. Dare I say I would include Jack Stoof in that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. So I would say, yes, it's very possible and likely that he didn't tell anybody during hand because he doesn't want them to get bothered and they have plausible deniability, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But after the fact, after it's been found, why would he not then say, yeah, here's everything. Here's all my clues. Here's literally everything. And so the only person that probably has that, I mean, the full story, the guy who was living with him, talks to him every day, loved him very much. Plus Forrest likes to talk. I mean, he's so great. He's so entertaining, man. He's so entertaining. I could watch Forrest for hours, man. So his interviews are great.
I think Forrest liked the game of the chase, and I believe Justin does too. I don't know about JCB. He doesn't seem to interact like Forrest did or Justin does, or kind of does. But Forrest certainly loved to marvel in his greatness. And again, I don't mean that as a pejorative. I think this man singularly was a national treasure, if you will, and quite unique. And so I think he enjoyed the game of I know what you don't know, and I know that you think you know, but you don't know. I think that's quintessential Forrest Fenn. And the one person he could confide in, and Shiloh called himself, I was Forrest's only true confidant in the chase. So I think Shiloh knows a lot about what happened. I think his mom does too. They certainly didn't tell the story on Netflix. The story Shiloh and his mom told on Netflix really, it brings us back to that time period because we all watched it in 2025, but those interviews were done, I think, in 2023. And they were just at the peak of Lawsuit City, where Forrest was being accused of the most heinous crimes you can think of. The most heinous crimes you can think of. Forrest was being accused of in a lawsuit where this guy supposedly, the chest was stolen. That wasn't the heinous accusations. I won't even give it time or space, but that was at a period of time where it was just ugly. And what we saw, not from Shiloh and Zoe, was ugly, but what we saw from Shiloh and Zoe, I think, was frustration.
Yeah.
And during that time, Shiloh and I are talking. While they were filming that, Shiloh and I are talking. And he released an audio June 16th, 2023. And I think it was right around the time maybe he's doing an interview with Netflix. But he releases an audio to me while I'm live. And the audio was Forrest and Shiloh talking the night it was announced found, June 6th, 2020. And Shiloh and Forrest are kind of talking about what's going to happen. Oh, everyone's going to start bombarding you with emails. Everyone's going to have questions. And then it's edited, it's clipped, it's strange. And it gets to this moment of silence. And Shiloh says to Forrest, you could even hide something in the same spot. And Forrest's reaction is, after a moment to think, he goes, nobody will ever find it. And then Shiloh goes, I mean, Cruella de Vil herself would be jealous of Shiloh's evil laugh. There was a contextual piece missing from that audio that he released that we don't know, but made Shiloh laugh. How on earth can Forrest be on audio saying nobody will ever find something if we hide it at the same spot? Jack Stoof could find something if you hid it at the same spot. He found the treasure. If the treasure was at 9 Mile Hole and some of us find out it's 9 Mile Hole, then the people who find out where Jack went, because maybe there were trail cams put up, will find that new treasure. No. Forrest is saying nobody will ever find it. Now, why would Shiloh release that audio to me to play on a YouTube stream while he's then filming with Netflix saying, you know, we're sick of people stalking us?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, this has been, you got to remember, for him and his family, after it ended, they're harassed. They're being harassed. They're not like other hunters where they could just drop off or whatever, or go complain and stuff like that. They're getting harassed. They want answers. Everybody's coming at them. I mean, people showed up in Golden Greed at the house still going, hey, I think the treasure is still here. I think I've solved it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Jody makes a good point, right? It's a new searcher without context. The doc was confusing, right? Because you know there's more. And that's true. You just know watching this documentary, there's more to it. And you guys have been talking about this for almost 5 years and stuff like that, how this ended and stuff. And so many new people are coming in and being, you know, at first I know of what's it called. There's a guy on Discord I really respect. I listen to him all the time about it. His name's Travis Brown. And I was asking him, I was asking Travis about Forrest Fenn. And then someone comes in, oh my gosh, you're talking Forrest Fenn. And they're getting mad at him. And it's like, no, I'm asking the questions. Leave him alone and stuff like that. I want to know. And I asked him. So don't get mad at him, you know. So I just hope people don't get mad at the Forrest Fenn people for still talking about it, because we're new and we love hearing about it. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating. You know, it's not as fascinating for someone who lived through it, right? I get it.
Well, I mean, it depends on your side of where you live these days on the Forrest Fenn world. It's still fascinating because, look, if we tinfoilers are wrong, okay, then Forrest wrote a poem that led to 9 Mile Hole. It's over. The biggest conspiracy possible is maybe Jack Stoof found the treasure chest at a previous time. That's about it. And nothing more to see here, kids. Go home. Fine. But then why has all these little things been going on? I'm told I'm a stalker of Shiloh while Shiloh's having conversations with me, asking me questions. He's engaging in a strange and unique way that I think points to the concept that there is more to come. We just don't know what that is. I hope it's just a happy ending. I want closure for the Forrest Fenn community, myself included in that.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? Your wife says it right here. Forrest was a fascinating person. He's super fascinating. He inspired all these hunts. We wouldn't be where we're at today without Forrest Fenn and his hunt and just how amazing it was. And I know there's a lot of negative feelings towards the end of it and stuff like that, but it was a beautiful time for a lot of hunters, and it was a good time. And I'm hoping that a lot of Forrest Fenn hunters will start coming back in, start enjoying these new hunts, because there's some good hunts out there. There's good people throwing the hunts. You know,
you guys are like new fresh blood that we needed, because
we haven't been tainted, you know, by a 15-year-long.
We all of us truly, and I don't put the blame on anyone or anything. It was life. But I joined the chase in 2015. I just didn't talk. I didn't do YouTube. I didn't talk on the blogs. I watched, I listened, I read. Didn't talk to a soul. Not a soul. Anyway, the period from 2020 to 2025 changed the whole landscape dramatically, and it was the only show in town. And so many were left going, what the heck, what the heck? And it turned into like everything that could go wrong in like an intermission between, like you go to a theater production and it's intermission before the final act. A fire broke out. The mezzanine level fell. Chairs were broken. The popcorn machine broke. The soda machine is out of ice. There's no more pretzels. There's no mustard, just cheese, no nachos. I mean, everybody was just in disarray from any neck of the woods of the Forrest Fenn community. And the Forrest Fenn community from 2010 to 2024, that was treasure hunting. It was that, or you go look for some cowboy loot back from the 1800s. There was no other treasure hunt. So all of treasure hunting was in disarray for 5 years straight.
Yeah, this is thank you again, Chad. You didn't have to do this. This is actually a great question. What would closure look like for you? You know, and I think a lot of people would like to know that, because you run the biggest Forrest Fenn Discord. You have probably the biggest Forrest Fenn channel out there and stuff like that. Nobody's really doing Forrest Fenn anymore. You're the guy and stuff like that. What would be good closure for you, or just at least closure?
I got two different answers.
Okay.
The first answer is what I hope for just as a member of the community. Shiloh told us that we only knew 70% of the story. He lowered it to 68% after Forrest's binder was released. I think myself and everyone else always thought that when Forrest said he'd keep his secret where and had an olive jar with his story in it, that was a big component to why he did the treasure hunt, what the point of the treasure hunt was while you were involved with it, and almost ultimately what your goal should have been. Forrest's story was worth its weight in gold. We await Forrest's story. That's closure. Now, my other answer would be a selfish answer. I fully believe that there's a twist. I think that twist needs to happen for closure to happen. And that twist would fill in the plot holes and the gaps of the story all at one time. It's an all or nothing shebang, and we're either going to get it or we're not. And so closure for me is specifically me is actually quite specific in reality of what I expect. But they're not they're not demands. Shiloh promised us answers, told us we only knew 68% of the story. Closure would be the other 32%.
That's awesome. I love that. You guys do not have to do that. What's it called? Weird giveaway. I hear fresh blood is a compliment around here. My neck is ready and waiting. So yeah, we are.
Maybe Dustin Posey has a vampire solve.
Kelly actually is so generous. What's it called? We are actually doing a Monday show, just really quick. This Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Standard Time or Daylight Savings Time, whatever. 5 p.m. I'll put it on our Discord. We are doing a big, huge Kelly Duarte giveaway. She gave us a ton of stuff and stuff like that, and we don't like to keep stuff. We like to give back, and so we're going to give it back. So that's what this Monday, the Kelly Duarte, that's who it is. Thank you so much. So books and everything. All right, man. I have so many more questions and stuff like that, but let's give this book away. You're going to have to come on because I still have more DB Cooper questions. Let me just ask one more DB Cooper question.
Sure.
So he stole, you better, he stole $200,000. And It's been rumored that they found some of the money along the water bank and stuff like that. So it's less than $200,000. Okay. And you guys are still looking for the treasure. Is that just, obviously it's not for the money, right?
No.
It's for the being the one that solved that. What is it for?
If we're right that Forrest wrote "Ha Ha Ha" by DB Cooper, I don't expect to find $194,020. I expect to find a Forrest Fenn bronze jar with his secret story in it, and in that secret story is Forrest copying to being part of the DB Cooper caper, and in that secret story would be a fresh, crisp $20 bill from the hijacking that even the feds haven't seen. That's what I expect to find.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Someone said, "Hey, what do you think the JP bombshell is?" So he put jars in his treasure, which we didn't even go over the jars, but that's fine. We're not going to go into that because that would be forever. What do you think that bombshell is? I know what I think it is. What do you think that is?
I think you've brought up some good points that I've heard before. I think Emma agrees. I think Ashley agrees and has some good points. The website isn't beyondthemapsedge.quest. It's trezor.quest. I think the bombshell is going to be a second follow-up treasure hunt.
Nice. Yeah.
I think Justin is in this for the long haul and wants to play that game. Now, I don't know how that game works, though. I mean, he wrote a book just like Forrest. It's all about Justin. Learn about Justin, figure out where his treasure is. I don't know what a second treasure hunt would even look like at that point, but I'm sure he's thought that through. If it's not another treasure hunt, let me give a unique answer. I don't think his bombshell is Forrest Fenn related. The only access he could have to bombshell information for the Forrest Fenn hunt would be details about the treasure chest that he owns, that he didn't use to hide his loot. So the bombshell could be something Forrest Fenn related if it's treasure chest related to Forrest Fenn's treasure chest. Aside from that, the only person with a bombshell for Forrest Fenn is Shiloh Old.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. Someone actually, brought up a good point. So he says it's not some replica Forrest Fenn chest, right? That's not what the container is. But does that mean it could be the actual chest? That's what some people think.
I mean, hasn't he specifically said on his website, like, no, I'm keeping that?
He's keeping that. He has and stuff like that. I thought it was just interesting. I always love hearing your thoughts on things because, like I said, you have a unique perspective that only Forrest Fenn hunters have. Okay, let's give this away.
Yeah, give it away. Give it away.
I don't have Emma on here and stuff like that. Man, you know what? Can you send me a number, not 42, in Discord?
I got you.
Thank you, man.
I got you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm not going to do it as interesting as Emma. The numbers are between 50 and 100. Let's go. First one to do it here. It's going to be crazy in a second. We're going to give away a Thrill of the Chase from Shiloh Old. Not signed. I'm not saying that. It's just a Thrill of the Chase. Whoa. Did I get found already? Hold on. What was the number? I have to go back.
I'm looking. Oh, God. They load up all
yeah, it's fast.
I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet.
Oh, no, it was not. Someone missed by one, and I was like, oh, crap. Is that it? So I had to go back.
I wasn't even going to say that yet, but like enough have gone by. They're like, wait, who was off by one? Everyone's just going to change their one.
Now I have to go back up to the top. I apologize and stuff. I thought someone hit it in the first four numbers. They did not. So let's see.
Mushi guessed my other number I was going to use, 33, but I didn't.
Well, 33 is, that's below the threshold here. We are looking for, I don't see it. Apologize for going.
I'm good at this. No one can guess what I'm thinking.
I know. Actually, Justin Posey did a number just yesterday, or just what's it called? It was 22. I'm like, that's a horrible number. People will guess it right away. Nobody guessed it. It was hilarious.
I got it. I see one.
Yeah, someone definitely has it. Probably. I'm still scrolling down.
657.
Wow, this is a good number. You picked a good number here.
I'll screenshot what I see.
Let's see.
Oh, these kids, they put it on video.
Oh, okay. I found this is the first one. Is this who you see? Because that is the very first one.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I thought I saw Chad Bird, but maybe
that would have been. Let's see if Chad Bird was in there. He was. I don't see another one. There's hundreds more numbers because I got a little late.
There are so many numbers, man.
Jason LJ, you won Thrill of the Chase. If you have Discord, contact me. What's it called? And I will get your address and stuff like that, and I'll order it through eBay. We'll order it from Shiloh, and he'll send it out. Like when I ordered it, let's see if I have what's it called? He sent a nice little. Can you see that? Is it too much?
Yeah.
Thank you, Shiloh. He said.
Right there.
Appreciate that. You're welcome, Shiloh. Thank you. So good job, Jason LJ. Ben, I said this in your freaking what's it called the other day from Swingers. Your money, and you don't even know it, man. I love this show. I had so much fun with you. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries, man. Always double down on 11, baby.
Always double down on 11. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
See ya.